Hey, hey, welcome to your midweek microdose, where I talk about things that I find fun, fascinating, or potentially life-changing. If you don't yet know me well, my name is Kayla Cohn, and I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist and mindset specialist. And today I want to talk about sleep and the importance of sleep. So, getting enough quality sleep is so much more important than perhaps any of us have considered, or maybe you have considered it. When I work with clients to help relieve things, that they're dealing with, which could runs the gamut, but it could be relieving symptoms of depression, having anxious feelings, dealing with relational problems, dealing with things that, where they think are just holding them back. They're looking for clarity in life or, whatever that might be. Nearly all of the time, we find or we uncover that there are these issues can stem from difficulty sleeping. So, getting enough quality sleep it does so much, right? It can help your brain to function much better. You will be better at problem solving, at maintaining patience and composure, when dealing with those around you, whether that's driving or in a work situation, whether you have kids or whatever, and just generally feeling happier. So, studies have even shown that lack of sleep can actually cause mental illness. Research now is showing that one of the most effective ways to treat things like depression and anxiety is to improve sleep, both from a quality and a quantity perspective. One really cool study recently showed that 87% of participants in the study said that their depression symptoms disappeared after only 8 weeks of good sleep. So, hear me now, only 8 weeks of good sleep. So take a moment and imagine what that will be like when in 8 weeks' time, so just a couple of months, 8 weeks from now, you are a better sleeper. Any symptoms that maybe you had been experiencing as a result of having had insomnia were resolved. So think about, brain fog. Think about forgetting things. I don't know about you, but it seems like a lot lately. I'm forgetting things or having trouble keeping track of things. Too many tabs open in my brain. So where, in the past or over time, you had been waking up feeling tired, feeling, fatigued throughout the day, having that brain fog, having an inability to make decisions, feeling those feelings that can come with depression or anxiety, all of those things, as a result of having had insomnia were resolved. So feeling happier, feeling like the person that you want to be, being able to interact in situations in a way, that more reflects who you are in your heart. Waking up feeling excited to start the day, feeling energetic, again, having this healthy body. Um, Imagine what that would be like. How incredible, right? To wake up in this way. So you might be asking yourself, yeah, that all sounds amazing, but how the heck do I get there? I've had insomnia again for, however long. How do I get this better quality sleep? And the answer to that is sleep hygiene. So right now, your brain and your body are in the habit of insomnia. But the good news is that unwanted habits can be broken, right? All these habits that we've seen broken time and time again. And desired habits can be created. So you can retrain your brain and your body so that you can develop the habit of being an excellent sleeper through sleep hygiene practices. So let's talk a little bit about what sleep hygiene practices look like. So I'll just kind of go through a number of things that you could begin to kind of play with and kind of implement and see what this does for your life. See how this changes, how things are for you. So I'm just going to check my notes because I want to make sure I don't forget anything. So the first thing is to have a consistent sleep schedule where you wake up and you go to sleep at the same time every day. So this might seem a little bit tough, particularly on the weekends. I know sometimes people like to sleep in or people like to stay up late and hang out and that kind of thing. So this doesn't mean that you have to completely overhaul or you have to be kind of, stuck to the time, but this does mean that by and large you want to start to go to bed at the same time and wake up at the same time every single day, weekends included. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, as you begin to head into the evening where it's time to start going to sleep, to start kind of dimming the lights. You can start closing the curtains. If you have, dimming light switches, you can start kind of dimming, dimming the lights, to begin to give your body that notice that, hey, it's time to start slipping into this softer, sleepy time way of being. Um, the next thing is to begin to cool temperatures down. So studies show that roughly 65 degrees is about the best temperature for sleepy time. It really does help the body to relax into, bedtime, this sort of bedtime feeling. So everybody's going to be a little bit different, but so a degree or two off of that. So I guess I would say anywhere between 60 degrees and 67 degrees, depending on what your physical feeling is about the ideal temperature for creating this nice sleep time environment. Um, we talked about dimming the lights. The next thing is as you are, as the evening is sort of going on and as you're getting into closer and closer to bedtime, is to shift into quieter activities. So that can be reading a book or listening to an audiobook, that can be taking a bath, that could be going on a gentle walk or a very gentle meditation. So nothing that's going to be stimulating. You don't want to be getting to a deep hardcore type yoga. Anything that is going to begin to bring the mind down. Some people like to engage in a nice guided meditation. There are so many of those on YouTube. I have many of them. I'm happy to connect you with some of my favorites if that's helpful for you as well. So yeah, nothing that triggers the alerting system, anything that's going to begin to bring the body and the mind down into more of a rest repose type state is important. I'll also say that you really want to stay off. I know it's can be tough, but you really want to stay off screens, including the TV. So our phones, our television, those give off a sort of bluish type light, which is similar to, morning and daytime type lights, this bluish light, which does trigger that alerting system, which makes the body kind of wake up. So if you wake up in the middle of the night and your first habit is to pick up your phone and kind of start scrolling, or um, whatever you do on your phone, right? We all do whatever you do on your phone. You know what you do. That is going to trigger the alerting system rather than helping you go back to sleep. So if you absolutely must be on a screen or, looking at your phone or whatever as the evening kind of wears on, there are the dimming options on the phone. So, I think it's called night shift for iPhones. I don't know what it is on Android, but if you can shift your phone into night shift, and that'll come on automatically for iPhones. Again, I'm sorry, I don't have an Android, so I can't speak to that. But on iPhones, you can set a time where the light will start shifting from this bluish light to this nice, soft, golden yellow light, which studies show is the more calming light. It's really similar, to sunset, the naturally occurring light of sunset. So that will help start you know, bringing that sort of alert way of being down. So if you absolutely must be on your phone, which I would ask you to just question and make sure that you absolutely must be, that's an option. Let's see here. So those are great things that you can do in the evening leading up to bedtime. So some of the things that you can do during the day, starting in the morning, for example, Andrew Huberman talks about this a lot. I really, really love him. I love his podcast. I highly recommend following him on the socials, but not at night. Following on the socials during the day or listening to his podcast. He talks a lot about the importance of light. So first thing in the morning, going outside and getting, 5 to 30 plus minutes of that first morning light. Even looking at it through the window kind of diffuses it. So as much as you can be outside in the natural light or, looking through an open window, that will help to kind of wake things up. Um, but the things that you can do in the morning is start with that light and then also consider reducing your caffeine consumption. So studies show that even as little as 1 cup of coffee in the morning, that caffeine can stay in your system for over 48 hours and impact your sleep for over 48 hours. So if you can imagine the compounding effect that would have to have even a single cup of coffee every morning, so consider that, play with that maybe, and maybe shift into, a decaffeinated tea or an herbal tea or some other thing that has less caffeine and just see how that impacts you. The next thing is to avoid alcohol. So a lot of people like to argue with me and say, no, no, having a single cocktail or having my glass of wine or whatever in the evening really helps me to sleep. And while it may help you to fall asleep or might help kind of the body to shut down, it really impacts the quality of sleep. that we get. So I won't get into all the details. There's lots of research that you can, it's very at your fingertips on the interwebs. But our body goes through different levels of sleep, different sleep and healing and rejuvenating processes, our brain and our body throughout the night. And alcohol really gets in the way of this. Um, so it interferes with the body's natural ability to do that. So you may find that if you are a regular drinker, if you often have a glass of wine at night, that you often wake up at the same time. So that would be indicative of the time that that part of the body, often the liver, is working on repairing itself in the night. But the alcohol that's in there is gets in the way of that. So that's another thing that you can look at. And I'll just say too that we want to live life too, right? We want to live life. So this isn't to say you have to completely overhaul everything. I give suggestions and you get to make decisions. So sometimes, even though I know this about how alcohol impacts me or caffeine impacts me, sometimes I want to go meet a friend for a cup of coffee. Sometimes I love holding that warm cup of coffee in my hands in the morning. Sometimes I want to go have a glass of wine with friends at night. And these are decisions that you get to make. So you can say to yourself, I know that this is going to impact my sleep. How important which one is more important to me this time? Getting a really good night's sleep tonight or having this glass of wine with friends? And the answer may change depending upon the situation that you have. So I'll just invite you when you're in those situations to just kind of take a nice deep breath, to kind of go inside and just ask yourself, what do I want right now? What's going to be best for me in this situation so that I can reach the goals, whatever your individual goals are? Does it mean giving up a glass of wine? Does it mean, hey, it's going to be worth it? And then whatever you choose is what you choose, and that's all great. So, yeah, so I think those are things that you can play with. And you might just set aside all this stuff, the caffeine, the alcohol, the scrolling, all of these kinds of things for the next, make a plan. Do it for the next 30 days and see how that goes. Do it for the next 60 days. See how that goes. You could do it for a single week. See how that goes and just take it day by day. For me, just as a side note, I can't make these, I'm going to do this for 60 days type things because I tend to sabotage myself. So for me, it is one day at a time, making decisions one by one day at a time. So that may work for you as well. So the next thing I want to just touch on briefly is as you're going through this process of shifting and changing and finding what works best for you, you might be wondering, how do I get through this? Or maybe I want to have a glass of wine, maybe I want to drink my coffee, whatever that is. So what's a way that I can alleviate or reduce some of the unfortunate effects or impacts of making those decisions to drink the coffee or the alcohol or whatever, to not go to bed consistently or not wake up consistently? So, what can I do when I wake up in the middle of the night? And one of the things I'll just mention is self talk when it comes to that. So, people who are good sleepers have a different kind of self talk than those of us who have suffered from insomnia. So, for me, if I'm having difficulty sleeping, my self talk is, oh my gosh, I only have another hour. Oh my gosh, only 3 more hours before I have to get up. Oh my gosh, I've only slept for 90 minutes. Now, what I'm going to do? Oh my gosh, it's going to be another night of terrible sleep, or whatever those things are that we say to ourselves, right? That are not helpful. So the unfortunate thing about that is that we are drifting in and out of a sort of hypnotic type state. And when we're in this sort of in between place, our subconscious mind is a little more on board than our conscious mind, and it aims to serve us at all times. And so when it hears, oh my gosh, it's almost like, if you could imagine, like a genie, right? Saying, your wish is my command. If you're saying, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get to sleep. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be so tired when I wake up in the morning. Here I am awake again. You're saying all these things. It's almost like this internal genie saying, your wish is my command. It desires to serve you at all times. So instead, you want to start shifting into the self-talk of really excellent sleepers. And that is that, I'm so tired. I feel so relaxed. I'm going to sleep well now. When I wake up in the morning, I'm going to feel so rested. Or if that's something that's not believable to you, you can just kind of come in under the radar and just take a step outside of things are terrible and lean into things are wonderful. So I'm going to feel so much more rested tomorrow when I wake up than I did yesterday. I feel so relaxed now, so much more relaxed now than I did earlier today. And just take these tiny little little bite-sized morsels to get you into this more helpful self-talk that leads to you sleeping even better. Another thing that I like to do is to begin to count myself down and into this sort of more relaxed state. So if I find that I wake up in the middle of the night and my mind is kind of spinning, I like to always take a nice deep breath. This is life, right? So making sure that you're breathing nice and deep into your belly. You can put your hands on your stomach so that when you breathe deep, you see that your hands are moving up. So belly breathing is so important for sending a signal to the body that in the brain that you are safe, that it's okay to be calm. So what I'll do is have a couple of nice deep breaths where I kind of hold at the top and then breathe out twice as long. Right? Breathe into the belly, breathe out twice as long. So just a couple times, 3 to 5 times typically does the trick for me. You can find what works best for you. And then I begin to count myself backwards from 10. And in between each number, I say really loving, supportive, sleep inducing things to myself. So 10. Oh, I'm getting sleepier and sleepier. 9. Nice deep breath. I'm feeling more and more relaxed. 8. Oh, sleep is coming for me now. 7. This feels so good. So those kinds of things, all the way down to 1. And I want to be really careful to point out that you are speaking to yourself softly, slowly, soothingly, lovingly. It's not 10. Oh, I gotta get to sleep. 9. Oh my gosh, I really need to sleep. It's not this. It is 10. Oh, so nice and sleepy. One thing that you can do too is using the voice notes or voice recording app on your phone is to record yourself saying these things to yourself nice and slowly, counting down from 10 to 1. Some people find that they need more time than that. So another thing you can do to kind of get the conscious mind out of the way is to count from 100 down. You might do 100 in threes. At the very least, your brain will be so bored with counting from 100 down to 1 in threes that you can't help but fall asleep. So find what works for you, but you can use the voice recording app on your phone to record this so that you can just listen to yourself saying these nice things. A really beautiful bonus to that is we have something like 60,000 to 90,000 thoughts per day in our head, and most of them are not nice. Most of them are not helpful. So hearing you in your voice saying loving, supportive things to yourself, this sort of beautiful lullaby of your own voice helping you to sleep. The added bonus of that is that you can begin to just love yourself a little bit more, right? Hearing your voice saying softly and soft and soothing things to yourself begins to create that habit of during the day saying these soft and soothing things to yourself. So that's something that I love to do in the evening. That's just one thing. There are so many things. I have a really beautiful sleep protocol that I walk my clients through to help make those habits change even faster, to help create those habits even more quickly. If that's something you're interested in, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I'm happy to talk with you about what that could look like for you. But in the meantime, I invite you to go through this list of things, see what things feel good for you to begin changing so that you can shift into being this beautiful sleeping person that you deserve to be, that you not only desire, but deserve to be. You deserve to have a beautiful, rest filled night so that you can wake up and have a beautiful, exciting, energetic day full of easy decision making, full of love for yourself and others, so that when you go to bed at night, you have fewer regrets about how you acted, how you reacted, about things that you couldn't remember. Instead, you can feel good about who you are and who you are becoming. So I invite you to give these a try. Please let me know what things were helpful, what questions you have, what things you'd like to know more about. I'm always happy to talk about this stuff. So have a beautiful day, have a beautiful night's sleep, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.